Welcome everyone to BBB Junior Board Masterclass. My name is Pamela Anson and I'm the Director of Brand Outreach at Better Business Bureau, serving Greater Cleveland. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We formed the Junior Board of Directors to bring budding entrepreneurs and business leaders together. The goal of this group is to find new ways to connect, give back, and expand BBB brand awareness. And we hope this virtual webinar series provides you and your business a new perspective on common challenges businesses face. We appreciate everyone taking the time to attend our final installment of our Junior Board Masterclass. I would like to get started today by introducing our three panelists. We have Donyae James of International Cleaning Solutions, ICS. ICS focuses on providing professional services in construction, janitorial, landscaping, and snow removal. Since founding ICS in 2014, the company has secured and provided contractual services to a diverse portfolio of small, medium, and large businesses. Next, we are welcoming India Hobbs, who owns Home Care Companions and Associates, LLC. They are a non-medical home care company that caters to the needs of senior citizens and others in need. India takes pride in helping those in need when they need it most. Finally, we're welcoming Matt Barker, studio manager at New Image Media, a full-service media production company that focuses on video, animation, graphics, and photography. Matthew is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the studio and all aspects of production from concept to delivery. Matthew excels in his role by providing high-quality, fast, affordable production services crafted for marketers and small businesses. So thank you all for being here today and willing to share your insights.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
Thank you. So let's just jump right in with some questions. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to post. So as a business leader, obviously times are changing. So it might be hard for some people who want to start a business this year. So Donyae, as a business owner, what are some of the most important tools that you think someone should have when they're getting their business started?
I think that everyone should start with their free resources. So with nonprofits and government organizations that's geared toward helping everyone start their own business. You have places like the SBA, the Small Business Association. You got SCORE. SCORE is a bunch of retired entrepreneurs that dedicate their free time to helping emerging entrepreneurs. You have places like the Urban League, different organizations like that that will help you with that business plan, help you with your accountant, helping you with invoices, helping you network with people that they know. So that, to me, is the most important tool. Use your resources. The resources are free. They're there to help you in every step of the way. Why not?
That's great. And I know, India, you have your own business as well. Is there any tools that you think are really important when a business is getting started?
Yeah, I second that. Utilizing the resources that you have available to you. She mentioned a lot of great ones, the Urban League, SCORE. You also have the President's Council. You have ECDI. You have the Better Business Bureau as well. And also, in addition to utilizing your resources, making sure you're staying up to date in whatever field that you're in is very relevant. We're in a ever-changing time, and sometimes from the time that you start to the time where you're at, things have changed. So staying on top of things, and a great way to do that is to utilize your resources.
That's great. And when we get started, sometimes whether it's as a business owner or as a leader, we have to take some sort of risk. So what do you think is an important risk that you took either in your career or as a business owner?
I think as far as risks are concerned, not being afraid to establish yourself in business as far as good business debt. Me being in banking before I ventured out into entrepreneurship, I was a little bit afraid to establish myself and separate that personal from that business, but knowing that it's totally okay to acquire debt and to leverage debt. It's a such thing as good debt. So building your DUNS number, not taking from your personal retirement or 401k as I did, but utilizing those resources, loans and grants that are available to you to help you establish yourself. So not being afraid to take the risk to reach out, again, back to your resources, and actually take the risk to deal with lenders to establish your business credit.
Awesome. And Donyae, I'm going to throw this also back to you because I know that originally this wasn't the career you're going to choose. So what important risks do you think that you took in building your business?
I would say not being afraid to invest in myself. Taking that course, taking that class that may get you a license to help you educate yourself, always keep an open mind. I think that not being afraid to take risk was my biggest thing. Like, instead of spending $2,000 on a vacation, go buy that machine that you need to start the business. If you want to start a cleaning company or a carpet cleaning company, spend that $2,000 and get the equipment that you need, or take the class that you need to learn what you need to proceed.
That's great.
I'll add to that too, the risk of being afraid to fail, right? I think that's huge. Like when you're starting off, kind of failing is you fail forward in business, right? You have all these elaborate plans, you have everything like lined up, and then you fail, and it's a little discouraging. And you have to take risks. So that risk of not being afraid to fail, and then if you do fail, to try again.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think it's so important to continue to learn from your mistakes. So that's wonderful advice. And Matt, I know you might not be a business owner, but you sure are a crucial part of your company and a leader. And I know you're working all the time to continue to grow and develop. So how do you grow and develop as a leader?
Yeah, I am a partner now, so technically I am a business owner. 40-60, so I have a partner stake in the company now. But yeah, but it's I think what India touched on too. It's the constantly learning and developing your skills. It's like if you take a week off, it's something to change, especially in the visual content video industry. It's so fast. So I have my kind of trusted resources of people I go to. And if I'm not checking them every day, it's every week. I'm following them up and seeing what's new in the industry and trying to stay on top of it. And that's, it's a job in itself to do that, but that's what you got to do, because if not, you're going to get behind. And then, yeah. So staying up to date on as much as the trends and trends in the industry kind of thing that we're trying to learn and keep up with.
So how would you say, since things are always changing, how do you just continue to generate those ideas as a leader?
So I saw that question. So that was it's going to be a funny answer, but it's and I'm going to say steal from people, but I don't mean it that way. Get inspired by people. So that's like, I'll look at maybe not our competitors in Cleveland, because I don't want to necessarily do that, but competitors or people or organizations that are way beyond what we are, and it's like, what is Progressive doing? Or what is, some of these huge companies? And it's like, well, and taking inspiration from them, because, they have staffs of, 80 people doing stuff. So it's always learning from them. And then that's one of the first things I do with new clients too. It's if they come to say they want, an XYZ video, I'll say, well, do you have something you like that where you want to make something similar to? And that's usually a really good place to start, is seeing what other people are doing and not stealing it, but taking inspiration.
I'm gonna second Matt. You're gonna steal shamelessly, right? Or learn shamelessly. I was I went to Futureland, which was an event here in Cleveland, and there was a millionaire speaking, and he talked about that's exactly what he does. He follows his competitors and he learns from their mistakes. He mentioned going to their reviews on Yelp and going to the 1-star and seeing what people are complaining about and people in similar industries, and then marketing his content to say, let's say their 1-star was in customer service. Then when he does his marketing, he's going to, pride himself in his company on the customer service. So
That's
You know, we don't like to use that word steal, right?
right.
But we all learn from one another, right? So learning from the mistakes of others. And I'll also second Matt on that, and delegating. I think it's very important. You become a better leader by learning how to delegate and share responsibility with your team and your staff.
Yep. Yeah.
That was great.
No, that's great. No, and you know, being in marketing myself, you always have to get inspiration from others. That's just why reinvent the wheel when you have all these great minds in the world. Oh, I think that's great. So I kind of want to change gears a little bit. This whole series is about changing times. And one of the things that we've really had to deal with most is finding work. We hear all the time that people are struggling finding people to work for them. So how do you think as leaders, and I'll start with India because you did your presentation on this. What do you think are important traits right now that people should be looking for when hiring a new staff member or employee?
I think one thing is definitely checking your references, right? I think all of us can, in an urgency to hire, tend to overlook things like checking your references, right? And when you're checking your references, you want to see how reliable this person is, right? We talked about like loosening the reins a little bit and showing appreciation. You don't want to get too loose on like late, right? But if you check your references and you know that somebody has a history of being late, you know, maybe if it's create a window of like, you know, 8 o'clock through 8:15, because that's something you can coach to. And then I always say a perfect employee is perfect, but then there's nothing really to coach to. So one, making sure you check your references, making sure that you know someone is timely, knowing that you have someone who doesn't have a criminal background is really important. I'm in home care, so it's definitely important that we make sure that we're doing our BCI checks and checking their backgrounds. So doing their background check, learning about them through references, and knowing somebody, this is really important for me, is knowing that you have someone who believes in your company's culture and shares in the mission. Like, we deliver care straight from the heart. We believe in treating people the way we want to be treated. We believe in service, care, and dedication. So asking appropriate questions or surveying those people before you hire them, because you can coach to somebody from being late, right? Even if somebody, you know, if you're in an industry of second chances, you can give people second chances. But if they don't share your mission or your vision, more than likely it's not going to work out, and they're not going to ideally treat your clients the way that they need to be treated. So I would say make sure that they're aligned with your company's mission and culture is very important.
Oh, that's great. And Donnie, I know that in the type of business that you're doing, a lot of people are really struggling to find people to work with them. Do you have any tips for someone who really might be struggling in your industry?
Yes, absolutely. I would say maybe going to companies like Minuteman and stuff like that. But someone told me like a lot of times the people are turned away because they do not have work. So something that you can do is wait outside of those companies, anyone that's turned away, give them your business cards, network like that. And then that way, I don't want to say you get to go around the temporary agency fees, but you are face to face with people that are actually looking to work and want to work.
That's a great idea.
And I know you mentioned last time about the importance of your company reputation, like with customer reviews, because that can lead to people checking you out as well, to make sure that you're the type of company that someone wants to work with, which I think is excellent advice. And so
Can I jump in on that one
of
real quick?
course.
Yeah, so I only because we just hired somebody, and the one trait that and this is going to sound maybe, I don't know, funny, but it was, I sit literally right next to him. So it was someone that I just I really gelled with. That was the point, that I have to be able to sit by him for 8 hours a day sometimes. You know, it's like, are we going to get along, and to any point, are they coachable? And that's kind of, you know, I get that out in the interview process, but it's like, is this person going to be coachable, and can we develop them, you know, further? So But the personality, like we're so small, it's only like 4 or 5 of us. So it's like they have to really fit into our culture. That's really important for us.
No,
Yeah.
that is number one.
That is-
Oh
that
my
is-
God.
It is. I had, coming up young in the professional world, I would meet, executives and stuff. And they told me, India, sometimes it comes down to, it's not, are you qualified for the job? It's not if you're smart enough for the job. It comes down to how well do you fit with this team?
Mm-hmm.
How well do we think the team will like you?
Right.
So that's really important, And I remember thinking when I was young, like, oh my God, they tell us go to school and be smart. And that's all that, they don't tell us be likable and try to fit into cultures. But yeah, I think, and then another thing, like 60%, there's a stat that says like 60% of people that get hired is because they know someone. So, that's because, they fit and there's some bond there. So that's good stuff, Matt.
No, that is really, because you're with them more than your family sometimes.
Right.
You have to make sure that you're getting along. No, that's great. Do you have any tips for people who are just saying, no, I can't find anyone. I don't know where to look. I can't take new business because of this. Anything that you might have found in the process of any of you hiring anyone?
I would say don't give up. Don't give up. And I've been watching what I say, right? Like, because if you keep saying you can't find anyone, guess what? You're not going to find anyone. So I would say not giving up, utilizing different resources. We mentioned giving your card out outside of Minuteman. That's great. You have social media. I would say market on Facebook Marketplace, business marketplace is great. It's very inexpensive to like post an ad. You can like run it for $3 a day for 6 days. Or let's not forget networking, telling your family, do they know anyone? Asking your family. That's like my last resort. I probably wouldn't do that. If you're in the industry, you do the work. Then you have other places like ZipRecruiter. They give you like a 4-day trial. And I love ZipRecruiter. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I like ZipRecruiter because they give you that 4 days and then they allow you to see the entire resume. Like you can see the person's name, you can see their email, you can see their address, and you can collect them over the 4 days. So I would say don't give up. Maybe try asking around your family, try other sources like ZipRecruiter, Monster, Indeed, Minuteman, or just old school, going to the places where you're going to find your clients. We've started a new recruiting platform where we have people go to the Cleveland Clinic in UH and stand in their entry way when patients are being discharged to not only get new clients, but to attract new people to work for us. Sometimes, like it's right now, you have to get really creative in how you're attracting your talent. It's not the easiest thing to do. So try like grassroots, asking your family, and like I said before, like never give up, just keep trying, because there are people out here that want to work, and you'll find people if you don't give up.
Oh, that's great. And we've just been hearing a lot of feedback lately.
I'll piggyback off of India.
Yeah.
That's like perfect because I go to Home Depot all the time, and with me being in the construction field, I'm constantly running into painters, subcontractors, roofers. So every time I go there to purchase something, I'm meeting someone new. I'm like, hi guys. I'm taking business cards, I'm networking. So it's like going to the club while I'm going to grab material and meeting all these new people, and I save their contact information. So when something new comes up, there we go.
Yeah, that goes back to what you were even saying of not being afraid to fail. Just if you don't try, you
like Donyae said, network, and it's going to be at places you wouldn't think, at the grocery store, at Home Depot, like anywhere.
That's great. So obviously, as I'm hearing this, you all wear very many hats. So I'm going to start with you, Owen, or I'm so sorry, you, Matt, about how you find time to work on your growing business.
Yeah, it's challenging. That is a challenge, right? Yeah. So, and especially when you can get you so focused on, your work, and doing the work. And it's like, you don't work on growing your company, obviously, when you're so focused on that. So my partnership with Steve, and he's, like I said, he's started the company, and then now we're partners, but that's been really critical to our success, is that partnership. And I know not everybody has that, but it's where we can kind of split roles, and he's doing what he's really good at, and then and I'm taking over what I'm really good at, and it works well. And then we'll come together on, obviously decisions and everything like that. But it's that's what's really helped us do it, is the partnership, is being able to, not just one person has to do everything. And then I think India said it earlier, the delegation. It's like we have 2 other employees. One's been with us for 5 years now, and she really is just like a rock star, that we can just really depend on. So that's having that team around you that you can trust and delegate to. It's so critical.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just agree. I agree. I agree. Sometimes I'm a sole proprietor, so I don't have a partner. And delegating, Matt said it all, because, if you don't, if you're not lucky as Matt to have a partner,
Yeah.
It's very important that you get a partner, maybe time, because growth requires a team effort. You can't do it all on your own. And if you want to scale to how you dream your business to be, you have to delegate first. And that means giving important tasks to other people. And what that's going to do is give you the time to focus on scaling and growing. Or maybe it is time to find a partnership. I always worry about, okay, I don't want to give my business away, but maybe, figuring out what you can do, or maybe hiring some volunteers if you don't want to delegate too much, or hire a partner, volunteering. So Matt pretty much touched base on
Yeah, finding a company that can do some of that stuff. Like, I know there's plenty of payroll companies. That's a good example, like a payroll company that just, I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. You guys, and that's worth the money that it costs to hire them, because it saves you that much time that on it every week or whatever,
And that goes to what Donyae was saying, like your resources, like the President's Council will help you with that stuff. You set up your HR, they'll help you, at the SBA, figure out some resources that will allow you to delegate, or, set up QuickBooks, so you're not doing everything through Excel, depending on, what you're doing. That's really old school. But I will admit, when I first started, I was like, because I'm from finance, it was like plugging it in my Excel sheet. I'm like, QuickBooks, what are you doing? You're not in the 8th grade anymore. But yeah, Matt touched base. Having a partner is great. Again, delegating or hiring volunteers, that all helps, because when you ask that question, the first thing I thought, I am my growing business, right? But when you're trying to do everything yourself, you kind of hit a ceiling on what you can do, right?
Yeah, your capacity kind of runs out, right?
Yeah, trust me, that's where I'm at now. I'm scaling, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to hire an office manager now, I'm gonna have to hire somebody to do payroll. I need those hours back for myself. So yeah.
I know one thing that my accountant would tell me is, Donyae, you need to work on your business and not in your business.
Yes.
She constantly shows me that. And so I ran into 3 different things. I think it was ECDI, one of those companies or whatever, but they just recently reached out to me, and it was about offering a virtual assistant as well as the President's Council. They also asked me, what did I need help with, and what could a virtual assistant or an assistant do for me? And so literally both of those organizations are providing me with an assistant. I just have to be willing to delegate, because I always face the challenge of, if I don't do it myself, it's not going to get done right. So
right? Yes.
So I would rather be up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing paperwork after I done worked my 10-hour shift, because I'm too afraid to delegate tasks. So put your trust in someone else and don't be like me.
Because it gives you that time back, the time you're not up at 2 a.m., you're getting rest that you need to be an effective leader and to run your business. Or it's giving you hours that you can focus on that meeting or writing that proposal or that grant that you really wouldn't have time for. And I think it's just growing pains a little bit, or just learning. Well, can be a little painful. Like for me, it's your baby, right? It's your baby.
Right.
Like you don't want to delegate or give anything to anybody else. I think Matt's in the best situation with the partner because you're like, hey, bro, like, or her, like, do this. And it helps. But yeah.
I do have a question. It's what do you do if you want to hire an employee because you need help, but you don't have the money to pay them?
Oh, I have one.
All right.
So you can join the President's Council. Join that organization. I think it's probably like $100 if you're a one employee business. So it goes up by the employees that you have. But over the years, what I've been using is when I joined the President's Council, every year they would give me a free intern. So every year I have an intern or interns that come on board and they send me the money to pay them. It covers payroll, it covers everything, literally all the taxes, the fees, everything you need. And you pay your employees $15 an hour, the interns, and you get them every year.
That's good to know. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, we did John Carroll. We've done it through John Carroll University. They had a program very similar, sounds similar to that too, where we had interns through them, and they were paid because it's always don't want to pay people. It's like so we did. They're always paid, but it was like a stipend through John Carroll where and maybe it was like a work study, something that it's been a few years since we did it. They stopped at COVID, I think. But they might be doing it again now. But it was really good program. It was really helped us a lot in that regard. Getting talent and help.
Or going different colleges. So you can go to different colleges. Post that you have like an internship. Post is not paid, and you may have someone that just may need to get some hours or something like that. Why not utilize that?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I've had one of those too, where it was not paid, but they did get college credit, so I felt a little better. They were getting credit for what it was. It's like, but that was what they needed. They didn't want to get. I mean, I'm sure they did, but they didn't need to get paid. I guess it was the credit was why they were doing it.
Well, I just have maybe one or two more questions. So I'll go back to you, Matt. Obviously, things are the reason why we're going to go back to these. Been a very challenging, changing few years. So, what are some things that you think that people really should be watching or utilizing in the next few years to really help their business grow?
In terms of like media stuff or what?
In terms of media, what do you think media-wise even could help their business?
It's as much as you can do, as much video, I'll say video, and that's because I'm a video guy, but you should have as much as, and most in brand marketing people are going to say the same thing. Everybody, you create as much video as you possibly can, which that's, a task. And when you say that, it's like, okay, sure. But like, we're going to have time to do that. And that's where a company like myself, and I'm not trying to get work out of this or anything, but like we could help with that in an aspect. And we oftentimes with our clients, we don't do all their work for them. We'll do 1 or 2 videos and they might do 10 or 12, on their own. And like, that's a nice hybrid of stuff that like, it makes sense to do some, I think, user generated video or company generated video, internal stuff that maybe doesn't need to be as polished, as professional, but it might get that content out there. And then you bring in a professional for your 1 or 2 videos that are going to be on your website for like 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. So, I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah. So do you think, is there any trends you're really noticing in the media world that people should look for?
Yeah. During COVID, it's just switched to animation, pretty much like that. Like, cause no one was going anywhere. So it was like every video project we had kind of switched to animation or stock media driven stuff where we didn't have to go places to film. And now I think it's come back. It's still it's not what it was. We don't hardly do any events anymore. We used to do a lot of events, filming events, but that's coming back as well. But it's now kind of like a hybrid. And I think people really embrace that animation and stock driven kind of videos, because those are ones that companies can do themselves a lot too. There's a lot of free, maybe not free, but Canva, I think, is a good example too. You can make videos in Canva. There's a lot of applications like that that really help companies create really cool stuff for a small cost, you know.
Yeah, Animaker is one
Yeah.
too. You can put it on your phone. I would suggest it on your computer. But for my nonprofit teaching kids financial literacy, I wanted it to be like cartoonish, like, and I didn't know how to put a commercial together. I used Animaker and it made a cool little video with, 30-second video. It took like maybe an hour or so. And I
Yeah.
posted it on social media, which is free. Um, yeah, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, their marketing ads it's not that much to market on those
Right.
platforms.
And I think one of the new, it's not there yet, and it won't be there, I don't think, in the next. So, and I'm going to probably speak wrong when I talk about it, but it's like AI generated video, and Facebook has started it. So where it's not open to the public yet, but I've read a few articles on it where you would say, I want to, and I think the example was like a bear painting a picture of a bear, and you just talk to your phone or something and say that, and then the computers generate that video for you. It's really, really cool. And to think where that technology is going to go, in 10 years from now, 5-10 years, it's kind of crazy to think of what you would just be able to talk into your phone and you're going to have a video.
So really embracing technology as
Yeah.
a business owner and leader.
Yeah. So it's cool to see it'll be really cool to see what happens there. And I think it'll save business owners and marketers a ton of time on creating content. And it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you just want to talk? And then it's just going to create it for you.
And Donyae or India, do you see any potential pain points or anything that business owners really should be focusing on in the next few years in general?
I would say constantly growing and constantly branding your business. One thing that that I don't do often, I never stop promoting. So this is an issue that I faced. I felt like I had too much business, like I'll say a couple months ago, I'm like, this is too much. Why is everyone calling me? I can't take any more contracts. Like, I don't want to promote. I pulled my commercial off of Spectrum and I'm just like, I just want to delete the Instagram. Like, stop calling, please. Because my biggest fear is not being able to provide the quality work that we do because we're overwhelmed. But something that I noticed a couple other businesses doing, and some advice I received was to not promote or to not stop promoting. But what we can do is just give things like questionnaires. So I can create a video or something and I'm just telling others about how to start a cleaning company, just promoting it different ways, but not actually promoting to sell our services or our product, but still brand at the same time.
That's a great idea. So keeping that awareness out there so that when they are ready to purchase too, they'll remember your name. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then also retaining your good client, and this goes into, or your good employees and clients, making sure you're appreciating them and making it competitive, keeping your wages competitive, making sure you're having those employee appreciation months and weeks. It's not the easiest thing to retain great talent. And I think that's going to remain a challenge. And it's just, the workforce is just new. You have AI, you have the COVID, the pandemic and everything making it interesting. But that goes into what Donyae said about branding. If you're building a brand that's inclusive, if you're building a family-oriented brand, keeping and retaining talent should be easy. Retaining clients should be easy. Nothing's easy. I'm competing with the Cleveland Clinic and trying to pay comparable rates to what they're paying. But letting them know, your clients and employees, that they're appreciated, going above and beyond, asking how they're doing, letting them know it's not just a job, but this is the brand, and this is, who you are as a company, will go a long way and in keeping people around.
So I think I have one final question, and it's for each of you. I'm going to start with Matt, and it'll be the same question for everyone. Is If you could tell your younger self one thing as a leader now, what advice would you give yourself?
That's a good question. Probably to find a mentor or somebody, faster than I did. I think, find somebody and find somebody in the industry that you're following, and don't be afraid. It's pretty intimidating when you're out of college and or whatever, and you're just like, oh, they're not going to want to talk to me or whatever. But yeah, I would say you should have done that or something along those lines. Yeah. Find a mentor sooner and really, develop that relationship, because I think that is a really valuable thing.
All right. Donyae?
I would say never give up, stay consistent, don't be afraid of rejection. And lastly, I would think that, let's see. Always network. Like, I took advice from people in industries that was nowhere close to what I was doing, but it worked for me. So don't think because someone owns a nail salon that their advice may not work for you. Because I've met people in a ton of different fields and I'm like, well, that's a good idea. I like that policy. Let me bring that on to my company. So just keep, be open-minded. Never turn someone down. Just stay consistent. Take advice from other people, or take what you can. Take what works. And that's it.
That's great. And India?
Be patient. Know that good things take time. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Don't be afraid. And you're not alone, and you don't have to do it all by yourself.
Oh, that's great.
Those are great.
Oh, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And this includes our final junior board masterclass. We appreciate you watching. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to your Better Business Bureau or to our wonderful speakers today.